On the fringes of desperation, where hopes frayed and futures withered, stood the forgotten motels of the drug strip. A landscape of blurred lines and faded dreams. Amidst the discarded needles and the echoes of broken promises, sometimes a splash of color would betray a story untold. Like a pair of red Converse, slightly scuffed, peeking out from under a grimy blanket. Her name, for now, remains unspoken. She was barely 20, with a face that held the trace of childhood, a delicate frame, almost doll-like. Her bright red Converse were a stark, almost defiant splash against the muted despair of her surroundings. She was drawn to him, a man of 25, a self-proclaimed street king in a worn-out t-shirt, peddling small-time dreams from a dingy room. She believed the act, or perhaps desperately wanted to. Days bled into nights. The cycle was relentless. The chase for the next high, the furtive deals, the endless waiting. Her boyfriend, with his grand illusions of being a player, would try to sling small amounts of dope, often from the very room they shared. She was always there, a quiet presence, watching, waiting, her red shoes never far from the door.
Got the last of it. You got the money, right? Keep it down, man.
Then came the day he was gone, picked up for something, arrested. She was alone. A chilling vulnerability settled over the room, but the pull of the drug was stronger than any fear. She found a room. She went to the known spot, her red shoes carrying her footsteps through the dust of the strip. She coked her dope. A brief moment of hope, a desperate promise to the dealer. Her boyfriend was getting out. He'd be there soon. She'd be back. As the young lady entered the hotel room, she could feel the weight of the moment. She was there to get fronted drugs on until her boyfriend got out of jail. A decision that would have grave consequences in the days to come. The drug dealer, aware of the situation, was filled with mixed emotions. This was the last time he would see her.
Alive.
She never made it back to the dealer. Time stretched, each moment an unheeded warning. Unease festered into frantic desperation among those who knew her movements. Concerned whispers turned into shouted instructions. Go check on her. A few of the guys sent to investigate approached the motel room door. The air around it felt heavy, thick with an unspoken dread. A knock, then an agonizing silence from within. Finally, the door creaked open just enough. There he stood, her street king, shirtless, his skin slick with sweat, eyes vacant and unfocused, lost in a chemical haze. He swayed slightly, muttering, insisting she was asleep. But a chilling glint of something wrong caught one man's eye. Peering over the boyfriend's slumped shoulder past the drug-induced stupor, the devastating truth slowly came into focus on the floor. A simple, gray blanket lay haphazardly, and from beneath it, like a final, tragic exclamation mark, jutted out her red Converse, no longer vibrant, but stark and defiant against the grim reality. Her face, when they finally saw it, was a grotesque shade of purple, completely drained of life or color. She lay there, small and still, looking like a discarded doll. This wasn't just negligence. This was a horrifying act of control gone fatally wrong. He had been enraged, seething with a twisted fury that she had dared to front Dope while he was locked up, violating his warped sense of street hierarchy and control. He wanted to teach her a lesson, and in his drugged, malevolent mind, that lesson meant giving her bad dope specifically intended to overpower her. He had watched her succumb, then, in a desperate, pathetic attempt to hide his monstrous act, he had covered her with that blanket. A life extinguished, a young woman abandoned, all for his fragile ego and the savage, merciless rules of the street. It was a truly sad, desolate, and utterly horrifying end.
This is not an isolated incident.
It's a recurring tragedy, a stark warning. The street, with its dangerous allure and its wannabe kings, often preys on innocence, on vulnerability. Too many bright spirits, good girls and good boys from good areas, drawn by a false promise of excitement or belonging, lose themselves and ultimately their lives in the cold grip of addiction. The true villains are the drugs themselves, the unforgiving lifestyle they create, and the broken individuals who become complicit in the destruction. Her red shoes, once a symbol of youthful vibrancy, became a tragic memorial to a life extinguished too soon. A horrifying reminder of the price paid when darkness is mistaken for daring.